The vagina is a very delicate and critical part of a woman's body, but there are some advice on how to wash the vagina which has caused a lot of confusion. But trust me, if you're washing your vagina, you're washing it wrong. As women, I understand we all want to smell nice down below, and there's this pressure to have a fragrance vagina. But trust me again, you don't need a fragrance vagina. In this video, I'll be showing you how to wash the vagina. Should you even wash it? I'm going to be showing you the difference between the vulva and the vagina and why you need to wash one and not the other. And as always, I'll let you know when you need to see the doctor. So come with me and I will show you that the best way to wash the vagina is not to wash it. Hi ladies, I'm Dr. Jides, your community physician and public health specialist. Welcome to my channel where we discuss women's health and lifestyle. And today we are going to be discussing the vagina and how you should keep it clean. And the first step in having a healthy vagina is to know your vagina. Yes. There should be no shame in knowing this. I am a strong believer that every woman should know every single part of her private. And that is why it's called private parts, because it's private to you. So this is for the ladies. Grab a mirror, find a quiet and comfortable place, sit down, spread your legs apart, and appreciate God's gift to you. You know what made me decide to make this video was because I came across the result of a study that was conducted in the United States. And this showed that 3/4 of women couldn't label their vagina on a diagram. And in another study, a similar study in the United Kingdom showed that half of the women could not label their vagina on a diagram. Kind of perceive where this problem could be coming from. And that is leading me to the next point I want to make. The point is, most times, what most women refer to as their vagina is not their vagina. What most women call their vagina is actually their vulva. So let's start with you. Can you identify the vagina in this diagram? What about the vulva? All that you see in this photo right here is the vulva. So the vulva is all of your external genitalia, which includes the labia majora, that is the outer lip, the labia minora, which is the inner lip, the clitoris, the clitoral hood, and all that you see on the outside. Do you see that circle down there in between the urethra and the anus? That is the opening into the vagina, and it's called the vestibule or the introitus. The vagina is an internal organ and you cannot see it on the outside. It's an elastic muscular tube that connects the uterus to the outside world. It stretches out only when something is inserted into it or when something is coming out of it. If I have to represent this graphically, I'll say that the vulva is like the door to a room, while the vagina is what you get when you open the door and you walk into the room. In the same UK study, I found that 50% of women did not know the function of their vagina. So what does a vagina do for you? Let me know in the comment section. The vagina essentially serves the following functions. It allows the menstrual blood, your monthly period, and vaginal discharge to pass out of the body. It receives the penis during intercourse. It holds the sperm and the semen and gives it entrance into the womb through the cervix. It serves as a passageway for the baby during delivery, and it's the route of administration for certain medications such as contraceptive rings and suppository medications. So that said, let's come to the burning question on your mind. Should you wash the vulva? Yes, absolutely. Should you wash your vagina? No. Let me know in the comment section if that came as a surprise to you, and I'll explain to you why. You see, the vagina, like I explained earlier, is an internal organ, and like all internal organs, it doesn't need to be washed. It doesn't need cleaning because the vagina already has a mechanism by which it cleans itself, and it does this in two ways. The first way in which the vagina cleans itself is through the natural vaginal secretions. This is what comes out to you as vaginal discharge. A healthy vaginal discharge consists of fluids from the vagina with some mucus from the cervix, as well as the lactobacilli. Together, these wash out old vaginal cells, bacterial cells, yeast cells, period blood, and every undesirable element from your vagina. The second way in which the vagina keeps itself clean is by having an acidic pH. How does the vagina have an acidic pH? From the age of puberty, the vaginal wall is colonized by healthy bacteria. I like to call them good bacteria because they do not cause any harm to your vagina. They actually protect your vagina from harmful bacteria and viruses. These good bacteria produce natural antibiotics and they produce lactic acid, which keeps the vaginal pH acidic. Now, one of these good bacteria is lactobacilli, which also maintains this acidic pH. Acidic pH of the vagina creates an unfavorable environment for bacteria or harmful viruses to thrive. What happens when you try to clean or wash the vagina? Through douching, for example. Douching, by the way, is a process of introducing water or solutions into the vagina in order to clean it. Now, what happens when you introduce these soap solutions, antiseptics, or whatever that is contained in the solution? It's that you distort the normal balance of this good bacteria I talked about. When you wash out those good bacteria, it changes the pH of the vagina and it makes the vagina more prone to infections such as thrush and bacterial vaginosis. Also, douching has also been associated with sexually transmitted infections and to infertility. I hope it's clear why you don't need to wash your vagina. Please choose a healthy vagina over a fragranced one. There is no need to alter the smell of the vagina. Healthy vaginal discharge has a characteristic smell which it's not offensive, and I do not see any need to alter that smell except there is a problem. Please watch out for my next video on the different odors of vaginal discharge and what they mean. How should you wash your vulva? I do not think there's any argument on whether we need to wash the vulva or not. I think most of us pretty much agree that that area, the vulva, needs to be washed. But now and then I get questions like, oh doctor, how should I wash myself? Am I washing it well? Should I use soap? Should I not use soap? Scented products, baby wipes, feminine hygiene products, fragrance, unfragranced? Is water alone enough? I kind of get where all of this confusion is coming from because there's a lot of advice out there on how we should wash. And some people say, oh, don't use soap, soap dries up the area, use a fragrance product. Or some people recommend using water alone. Well, I will not say that there's a definite prescription on how to wash the vulva. My job is to give you information on basic principles that can guide you and you can decide for yourself what works best for you. Have you ever tried washing your skin with water, just water alone? Let us know how it turned out. Did your skin get clean? I bet it didn't. Because when you wash your skin with just water, it doesn't get clean. The vulva is exposed to dirt, dust, bacteria from the environment, vaginal discharge, and maybe semen. I mean, there's a lot going on there. And remember, the groin is packed full of sebaceous glands, which secretes oil. So remember, there is hair there. Oil can get trapped in the hair, bacteria can get trapped in the hair. Oil and water do not mix. The only way to get them to mix is to introduce a surfactant, and that is where soaps come in. A surfactant basically allows the oil and the dirt to mix with the water so that it can be washed out effectively. I think the vulva should be washed properly with soap and water. The groin area has sweat glands, which produces some kind of sweat that are broken down by bacteria and gives off an offensive smell, which could come off as body odor. And this area is pretty much covered for most of the day because you could be wearing your underwears, your sanitary pads, tampons, pant liner, and you could completely occlude the area. So there's a lot going on there, and I think we need to pay special attention to this area by washing it properly with soap and water. How often should you wash your vulva? I'll recommend once or twice a day, but if you're in your period, you may want to wash more often, so you could go for 3 times a day. But generally, I would not recommend you go more than 2 times in a day because you also do not want to wash too often and strip the skin of its natural oils. which could lead to dryness and irritation. How should you wash the vulva? Now follow me to my recommended intimate vulva hygiene routines. The first thing you want to start with is to use warm water to wet the area. You need to avoid using hot water in this area because you don't want to strip the skin of its natural oils, which could cause dryness. A dry skin is more prone to irritation, itching, getting cuts. So if you already suffer from dry skin conditions such as eczema, psoriasis, you will want to make use of lukewarm water. Next is you use a soap and wash. And I recommend using unscented soap and that you use your hand to wash rather than using wash towels, because these wash towels can harbor bacteria, especially when they are not very well washed. Yeah, I know some people will say, oh, I've been using scented soaps and it hasn't caused any problem for me. Well, all different strokes for different folks. The reason I recommend unscented soap because they reduce your chances of getting dryness and itching in the skin, and they also reduce the risk of distorting normal balance of the good bacteria I talked about earlier and reduce your chances of getting infections with thrush and bacterial vaginosis. Now there is no need to wash this area vigorously. You need to be gentle because the skin there is delicate. Now we are going to be focusing on the external part. So you start by soaping the mons pubis. The mons pubis is the fat part on top of your pubic bone where the pubic hair is. You also want to soap the groin, wash the groin. Then you wash the outer lip, which is your labia majora. You pat the inner lip and you wash both surfaces of your inner lips. And then you wash the clitoris and the clitoral hood. Make sure you do not put soap into your vagina because this could irritate the vagina and it could also disrupt the normal balance of the healthy bacteria that I talked about previously, and it could irritate the vagina and increase your risk of bacterial vaginosis and thrush. For my beautiful ladies with the long nails, all I can say is navigate carefully. After washing the vulva area, then you can move back and wash the perineum and the anus, and that is because you don't want to introduce bacteria and feces from the anus to the vagina because this could increase your risk of having abnormal vaginal discharge. Watch out for my next video on vaginal discharge colors and what they mean. The next step is to rinse. Make sure you rinse with warm water or lukewarm water for the same reasons I had explained before. And then pat the area dry. Do not rub and wash that towel regularly. The next step is to moisturize. Now, not everybody may need this very step because this area is pretty much covered for most of the day, so it's usually moist. If you suffer from dry skin conditions that affect the labia, such as psoriasis and eczema, you may need to moisturize. And I'll recommend you use an unscented moisturizer because this will reduce the chances of irritation. Finally, when you're done, the next step is to put on a clean, nice underwear. I'll recommend you always wear a white 100% cotton underwear. Avoid wearing nylon, acetate, or man-made fibers if you have delicate skin or you're prone to vulvar irritation. Always make sure you wash your underwears before wearing them, even after you've bought them newly, because you don't know the condition it was before you bought it. Avoid these feminine hygiene products that could irritate the vulva. Feminine sprays, deodorants, scented oils, bubble bath oils, talc, powder, panty liners. These can irritate the vulva, they can cause dryness, itching, and scarring. It can increase your risk of getting cuts in that area. Please see your doctor if you're experiencing excessive dryness, itching, and irritation in the vulva area. Abnormal vaginal discharge where the quantity or the color or the smell of the vaginal discharge doesn't really seem right. Also, you see your doctor if you have blisters, warts, spots, or lumps in the vulva area. And that will bring me to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. If you benefited from this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you'll be notified each time I make a new video. Thank you and bye.